Let him go.
Optional start.
Oh, freestyle start. We'll see. Right in on that leg. There's 2. That's a reversal, I guess?
Yes. Yeah, because they never separated.
Right. The stall warning against 7, so now another takedown. I'll give him the major. Even if he lets him go, it gets that takedown.
Neutral one.
Giving him 1.
Let's go.
7-1.
Now he has to stay busy though. And again, if he keeps the aggressive pressure on, he can get more stalling calls. Because all Richings is doing is grabbing the forearms there and just holding on.
Little acrobatic move tried by Scott. He's got that leg hook though. He's got to get his leg free. Yep. He can spin around and get the 2. 18 seconds.
It's a stalemate right now.
There's the 2. Now he's got to hold on for the last 8 seconds. Looks up at the clock, and he's going to get the major, 9-1. Nice job by Richings, though, Vogue. Only 4.
Only gave up 4 points.
Piece of Paul can tell. He's happy with that. 21-18 Paulsboro. So Paulsboro now leads in bounce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3.
For Haddonfield, Chris Dengler. For Paulsboro, Nick Knauer.
Chris Dengler, Nick Knauer.
And Dengler comes into this match 11-7, and Nick Knauer is 6-6 with 19 career wins. Chris Dengler is a junior. Nick Knauer is a junior.
Injury timeout again for Haddonfield. So votes Timber Creek, Paulsboro, Haddonfield, who's number 1? If Haddonfield wins, who's number 1? Haddonfield and Timber Creek. If Paulsboro wins, who's number 1? Timber Creek or Paulsboro.
Well,
Where's Camden Catholic? Is Cherokee. Cherokee's got to wrestle.
Well, Cherokee's got to wrestle Timber Creek.
Right.
That's ultra important. I think Cherokee wrestles Camden Catholic.
Yes, they, I don't know if we have that in here. Probably not in my notes here, but
I think they're so equal this year. I don't see a standout team. Timber Creek was in the Mustang tournament at Brick Memorial. They have some very good wrestlers. They have wrestlers you're going to see in the Region 8 tournament. But from top to bottom, I think that they were a runaway team.
Right.
But they came out of the chute quickly this year, and they're doing well.
And that program turned around really quick, though, Timber Creek. I mean, obviously, they're a fairly new high school.
Well,
it's a wrestling background.
Yeah,
they're coming from the Gloucester Township, where Highland dominated for so many years.
Yeah, it's an offshoot of Highland.
Right.
A lot of people moved in. They went up in the number of people in the district, so they formed another high school.
Rog, I chuckled to myself when you mentioned back to the 60s when Paulsboro used to bring in the portable bleachers. I can remember as recent as the 80s when they used to wrestle Vineland. When Vineland had those real good teams, they used to bring those portable bleachers in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
May have done it against, Paul VI or some other teams as well. Back then, Paulsboro was pretty much dominating everybody, so there was only a few teams that even had a chance. And after the match was over, they really didn't have a chance as it was anyway. I guess that's a big question. All the dominance. What was the most dominant decade for Paulsboro wrestling? Was it the 80s, the 90s, the 70s?
Well, I think when Bob Frederick took over, following Sam Evangelista, I thought he had a really domineering streak. He won 84 matches in a row before they lost to Rancocas Valley on Valentine's Day.
Right.
And I can remember telling him it'd never be duplicated. and they turned around and won 96 in a row, the team. And he, Bob Fredericks could have kept coaching, and he gave up that spot to become the athletic director, and Paul had been his assistant, and he brought him in as the head coach. This is his 26th year as the head coach.
That's scary because we're the same age, I think.
Yeah. And you look at his record, and you just say, how can someone do that?
514 wins, 29 losses, 4 ties.
And, of course, now the pressure is even greater because he is the high school principal as well as the head wrestling coach. So there's a lot of responsibilities involved. Plus, he has a couple of his sons that are wrestling now on the youth level. So it's a full plate. This is a huge match for Paulsboro. You start pinpointing which match is important and which match can they afford to lose, or where they got to keep points to a minimum. This is a one that they can win, but is also one that they don't want to make a mistake on and give up big points.
Dingler, and on that leg.
Yep.
Nice job by Knauer fighting off it.
Yeah, because he almost got slipped underneath and was going to give that up. Reacted quickly enough to not give it up. I know people like to see domination out there. There's a takedown.
Knauer 2-0.
But here's a perfect example of two really good teams going at it. And if somebody wins by 3 or 4 points, you can't walk away disappointed.
Well, you can.
Well, you can.
You can. And I'm sure they will. Well, the fans, the true wrestling fans will come out and say, yeah, we saw a really good match.
And, last couple of years when you had Duca and Greenwald anchoring the lineup, you had pretty much experience up and down the lineup coming out to start the season. Some of the former wrestlers we've seen here tonight, Brian Tracy and Nico Lopez, and guys that were role players did a hell of a job.
Brian Tracy, by the way, wasn't a role player. He was a
he was a
runner-up, state runner-up.
Yeah, he was very good. Yeah. But I mean, Nico Lopez is a role player.
Yeah. Just clarifying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Brian Tracy parlayed that into a degree from Brown, and is now he's a cadet wrestling official. We saw another cadet wrestling official tonight, Ryan Cunningham, who was a 2-time state champion for Cherry Hill West. And it's good to see guys like that coming back.
Set, you're on top.
Second period, 2-0 lead Knauer. He's on the top. Chris Dengler, a Haddonfield wrestler. We'll go back to the center. First time I said that this year. Saw a pretty good freshman here today too, Van Brill. Mike Van Brill's son who wrestles for Clearview Votes.
We'll see him in District 29. You see a false start on the bottom.
Another caution.
See another caution.
This one on Haddonfield.
Relax.
Next one's a point. Everyone after that's a point.
You set? Relax, all right? You got 2 cautions, all right? Relax. I'm going to blow the whistle after I say set, all right? Okay, go ahead. Set.
Yeah, see, I thought that was very good what Ron Roberts did there. He made sure the Haddonfield wrestler understood he had 2 cautions already, and he said, I'm going to say set before I blow the whistle. Just relax. And, of course, when you're Dengler and you're sitting out there and you're expected to win, and you're down 2-0, it's tough to relax.
Set.
Trying to keep that arm barred behind the back.
Back in, stop.
Haddonfield last year made some noise by knocking off Camden Catholic Votes, which had to be pretty rewarding for Pete DePaul since he coached at Camden Catholic at one time.
Yeah. And he's had some pretty good success wherever he has gone.
Locking hands? No.
No.
The Haddonfield bench was calling for it. There it is now. So, took a while. That's a big point. Big point, Vogue.
Yeah.
2-1 now.
Your hands touch. Your hands touch, all right?
Dengler can get out. He can tie this match going into the third.
Yeah, go ahead.
Still got a minute 15. 21-18, Paulsboro leads.
And ironically, he didn't lock hands, but when you put the hands around the body, if they touch, it's called locking hands. So you have to be very careful on, how you knock your opponent down, how you keep him on the mat. You can't overlap hands. Good hip action that time by Knauer.
Dengler just trying to get out, inching out. You see Manchio tell him, get off the mat, get off the mat.
Geez, he should have done that when he was wrestling Greg Gross.
Oh, that's a shot, Verge. 32 seconds.
There's Manchio trying to get his wrestler to get excited.
Relax here, relax.
25 seconds remaining in this period.
So Manchio against Alexander, one of the great moves in Region 8 history, wasn't it?
Yes. We see, sometime we're going to have to look at all those Region 8 tapes and do a highlight reel.
Well, you do that, Vogue, and then call me.
I know.
After you narrow it down. You got that. You got the Suter Covington one.
Yeah.
2 seconds. We're going to go into the third. 2-1 lead, Knauer. And Knauer, after getting a point taken away, or giving up that point, did a great job the last minute 15.
Yep. Holding
Dengler down, and now he starts on the bottom, has a chance to get an escape. Going to let him go here anyway. Going to start up that way, 3-1. Which I find interesting now at this point, Vogue, because if he takes him down, then he's still got to hold him down.
Yeah. I think what he's banking on there is, maybe trying to get him to risk a move and get more than 2 out of it, maybe a 2-2.
Maybe with the caution, he didn't want him on the mat.
Yeah.
The 2 cautions. I don't know if they thought that like that, but this is one of those toss-up matches, Vogue. Actually, I would have probably favored Haddonfield slightly.
Well, I think you had to going into this bout. With Knauer having a 6-6 record and Dengler having an 11-7 record. Although, when I was talking with Steve Anashevsky the other day, when he talked about some of Haddonfield's wrestlers, he felt that some of his kids who haven't wrestled nearly as often this year stood a very good chance. So I think they've scouted very well and have an idea what they want to do, and now it's just a matter of the team performing.
Yeah, I think both of these teams have seen each other many times before tonight.
Well, like I said, up at Council Rock, Manchio was up there taking lots of notes.
Dengler trying to get in on that leg.
Yeah. Knauer trying to spin him around. Look for an opening maybe to go the opposite way. Getting it on the leg. They do this over and over and over in the locker room.
The key about this, Vogue, is just the clock keeps ticking, too, for Knauer. That's good news for him.
Yep.
Dengler, he's got to try something.
Well, he's got to try something dangerous here.
Absolutely, because what's the difference?
There you go.
There's a takedown, 5-1 lead for Knauer.
And see what you do there when you get the man's leg up in the air, you have to get him going in the opposite direction. Get him off balance.
And Knauer wins 5-1. 9 matches down. Paulsboro has won 6. There are only 3 losses, giving up pins. We go to 140. Let me listen in.
At 140 pounds for Haddonfield, Whit Oswald, and for Paulsboro,
Whit Oswald, Tyree Ellis.
Yep.
2 points already for Ellis. So we could throw the records out the window here.
Stay right there. Don't move. Stay right there.
6 and 5.
Yep.
Got an injury already.
Yeah, you can go, bro.
Yeah, all 6-5, 22 career wins. He's still sub 500, but he was second in the districts last year. Wood Oswald, 15-7, also second in the districts last year. So they also both have a little bit of comparable backgrounds. Of course, Ellis getting a slow start this year because he was hurt in football season. Getting hurt in football season cost McMullen the whole year last year.
So I think Paulsboro last year had high expectations for McMullen on the wrestling team.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, it's interesting, Budge. We have this chance. Paulsboro doesn't have a true 215-pounder this year.
They do not.
They don't have anyone over 189 except for the heavyweights.
Yep. They are walking the hallways, Mondelli.
Did that a couple years ago. Remember the year Collingswood beat them?
Yep. They got heavier guys that live and die with the football team, and they could care less about wrestling. And what a shame. Why I say it's a shame? Because what do you do in the wintertime? What do you do in the wintertime? The coach wants them to lift weights.
Okay, stay in shape. Yeah, lift weights.
Look at the West Epper this year. That big lineman that they have, Pollard. Where's he now? Is he lifting weights? He's their heavyweight. And this is the point. The point is there is no backup to Curl.
Right.
There is no one.
Right.
There's no one at all at 215. So you're bumping guys like Ryan Dick, who have the heart of a lion, up into an area where he shouldn't be. You know what I mean? And there are people walking the hallways that don't have the courage to come out for the sport. My sermon is done.
Isn't it? I don't think you make that statement when the baseball team needs a shortstop. Why don't one of the wrestlers go out there and play shortstop?
Absolutely. I
never heard you say
Well,
that.
I was standing over there in front of that locker room tonight before we went on the air, talking to a couple of the, in fact, Brian Klaus is one of them, talking to them, and two things we agreed on. 12 weights should be maximum, number one.
Absolutely.
Number two, club sports should be abolished.
All right, you're down.
Let the kids go from season to season to season and enjoy the growing up as youngsters. These kids don't have that opportunity anymore.
All right, you're on top and wait till the step. Go ahead.
I actually was one of those parents whose kid played club sports, and I can tell you right now, I couldn't wait till he could drive.
Yep.
Because I did a lot of driving for a lot of years. 2-1 now. I see escape.
Well, I can remember being over John Birch Kelly's house. John and Dolores Birch Kelly. Dolores, by the way, we miss her sadly, passed away after a lengthy battle with cancer. They drove Nikki and the other wrestlers all over the country. All over the country.
We're going to take a break, folks. 24-18 Paulsboro. We'll be right back.
How much were you?
Hi, I'm Joanne Carosino, President and CEO of Cape Regional Medical Center, and I got my start at Gloucester County College.
And I'm William Rennells, and I'm getting my start at Gloucester County College.
For more information, call 856-415-2209 or visit gccnj.edu.
1:20 left here in the first period. Tyree Ellis with a 4-1 lead now with that takedown here in the first over Whit Oswald. Oswald Jr.
Cuts him loose.
Obviously, Elvis with the 2 takedowns in the first minute, pretty confident on his feet.
Well,
and what is his strength, Bud? You've seen him now.
Yes, and that's his strength. And the upper body throws. That's where he's got to be careful. Right there. Right there. He's jeopardizing himself. Oh, my. 3 back points.
So it's 9-2, but he got in trouble there for a little bit.
Yes. And that was the point.
Neutral, there you go, Vogue. Makes him tell, confident on his feet. 9-3. Wild first period, but this time Oswald takes the shot, gets in on that leg quick.
Yeah, he has to. He has to, because now he's so far down. He's got to know the weaknesses of Ellis. And one of the weaknesses of Tyree Ellis is sometimes to go upper body with you and may not be strong enough to execute those against an accomplished wrestler. But he's very, very good at spinning behind.
There's another two.
Like that.
It's 11-3, 17 seconds. This is where he's got to know how much time's on the clock. Break his man down.
And the bench has got to be telling him, hold him down, short time. We're short time right now. Don't let him out.
So whoever wins the flip here, I mean, if Ellis wins, obviously he's one to start neutral.
Yeah.
Push goes to red. Good choice. What do you want? It's neutral, red's neutral.
Don't take neutral.
Yeah. What's the score?
11-3. As we start the second period.
You're getting pretty good at this, Mondelli.
I'm looking at the scoreboard right in front of me, Vogt. I don't need glasses for
That thing a mile away.
I'm farsighted. It's the near sight, the near thing that's killing me. Especially that small print in the newspapers. I have to put on the glasses.
I don't know how you could read your notes tonight going into this. It looked like Bob Schreier.
I can tell you, it's an honor of Bob Schreier because we're missing a big banquet for Bob tonight. Bob's being honored, and of course we're here doing this match. And
you know, I was so fortunate in my life because after teaching school in the very beginning, he lured me to the Gloucester County Times, or the Woodbury Times back then. And I became that was my career in sports writing.
How did you just do that with like a stone and chisel? Because that was a long time ago. There's a takedown, by the way, if I take a shot at your age, 11-5. Oswald gets the takedown. This is where Ellis doesn't like being on the bottom, I would assume.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
Yeah, I was at in education for 6 years, and he actually gave me a job going into the summertime as a part-time sports writer in the summertime. And as a teacher, your summers were off, so you wanted to get a little extra income.
Right.
And during the course of that summer, he offered me a job in the sports department. And he was the editor, Haddonfield Caution.
I can't believe you take a job. What, you're telling me that education, you don't get paid a lot? Because what I'm reading, the teachers make a bunch of money.
Don't forget, this is back in 1968.
I shouldn't be political here anyway. I'm joking. 11-5, 1 minute left.
But he lured me into the sports department, and he was the editor, sports editor, and Stan Booty was the assistant. And then Bob became the managing editor of the paper, and Booty moved up to be the sports editor, and I moved up to become the assistant sports editor.
Had some great names at the time, Stan Booty and Bob Schreier. Wow.
George Anastasia was in that sports department.
And his son,
now you see
here.
Yeah, and now you see him reporting on the mob.
Yep, there we go. It's 2 points, 13-5 for Ellis. Yeah, George's brother Phil covering the match for the Inquirer, right?
Yep.
A lot of people up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5 reporters covering this for the papers.
John Belinsky's up there. He's reporting to the Newark Star Ledger because they have both these teams ranked in the state.
Yeah, they got 6. I think both of them in the top 10, actually.
Yeah.
13-6, 25 seconds left in the second.
You know, and then Belinsky said, he looked at the lineups and didn't see how Paulsboro could lose. But, they won a couple of the close ones. And that's what you have to do in order to win. They've given up 3 big matches, all worth the maximum. That's where the 18 points have come from. So you have to chip away in the other matches, because if you get 2 decisions, you're only chipping away 1 pin.
So spin behind, take down, and that's in the last 3 seconds. So 15-6, he's in major territory right now with 2 minutes to wrestle. Possibly 2 minutes to wrestle. Of course, a wild match last weekend, though. South Plainfield and Jackson, which went down to the criteria.
Right.
South Plainfield beating Jackson.
I've seen more criteria decisions this year in meets than I've seen in a long time.
I don't know, Bodes. Wasn't it Eastern last year that seemed to be involved in a lot of those?
Yeah. And then
when we went to them all.
Yeah. And you have to have the rule book with you, which I don't have tonight, unfortunately. Because Al Maloney was supposed to get me one, hasn't done it yet.
And Oswald now getting aggressive.
He has to be. He's trailing. Now you notice that Manchio is more up, getting animated over there, and P.D. DePaul was kind of like sitting there saying, "What do I say next?" They know what they got to do.
What did Paul Marina say? Once they weighed in, it's up to the kids.
Yep.
Can't go out there and wrestle for him. Oswald again Gets this takedown, which he does. He cuts into it. It's just a decision. Now they're saying, let him go. 15-9.
And now this is where condition comes
I was
into
gonna say,
play.
how's that working out right now? 16-9. Ellis needs a takedown to get Paulsboro that 4th point. Caution on Ellis. He looks like he's tanked, Voj.
Oh, he is tanked. There's no question. Well, he got a late start in the
there's an
season.
injury too. I don't know if it's the blood or what. We did have a timeout.
Yeah, and his late start in the season because of an injured finger. And you can't really practice like you should practice if you have injuries. That's when you have to suck it up and just go harder. I'd get right in on a leg like that and I'd hold on for dear life.
There's Ellis gets the 2 back. Which is big ones, 18-9, because even if he lets up the escape, he still has a major.
Yeah.
High scoring match.
Yeah, but what he has to do, he has to drive him flat. You got to get him flat. You got to think of the team here at this point. What can I do to help my team? This is a huge win for him.
Oh, look out!
There you go.
Wow,
Can't lose focus. Can't lose focus.
Look for a stall here, Voj.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be an escape before it's a stall, I think. There's a neutral.
18-10. No warnings yet, though, right?
No, so he's just got a circle.
Back up, and that's what they're telling him. But he's got the leg now. Oswald got to finish this in 2 seconds. He's not. 18-10 final, so an extra point for Paulsboro. 28-18. Major decision. Paulsboro winning 7 out of the 10 so far.
Wow, and I said I could see a 7-7 or an 8-6 split.
Still going to have 8-6.
But I think the momentum is really going out the window.
At 145 pounds for Haddonfield, Will Dengler. For Paulsboro,
Will Dengler
And
Lou
Lou
Gattuso.
Yeah. Dengler is a senior, 15-3 this year, district runner-up last year. Lou Gattuso, a senior, 9-5 this year. 6-6 this year, 14-35 in his career. So the odds favor Will Dengler.
Remember last year in the dual meet against Absegami, Voj Gattuso's big win.
Oh yeah.
That would have been a big upset if Absegami came into Paulsboro and won. Gattuso had a big win. Paulsboro wins the match.
Yeah. And he's improved over last year. Louis is a hard worker. There's no doubt about that. You know, is he a champion wrestler? He's working to be better, but he hasn't reached that level yet.
Offense, offense, offense. You got your 2. You got your 2.
Takedown for Dengler. Dengler beat Martell last year in the Group 1 final 4-2 and beat Ryan Dick 12-4 in the dual meet.
We're going to see back points here in a second.
Not yet, 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 not yet.
Here, Roberts, not yet.
Yeah, because he's got to break the plane.